Hello.
Hello.
Hi there. We have paid for this studio for an hour. We've spent the last 50 minutes trying to figure out how the tech works, and now we have 10 minutes left to film a podcast.
A 10-minute podcast.
A 10-minute No, we just 10 minutes to just film. In order to get like a 10-minute video, you usually have like 30 to 45 minutes of footage. We have 10 minutes just to create content.
So this is just a test run.
We didn't do the clappy thing.
We don't have to do the clappy thing.
Yes, we do, because I have to...
Wait, we need one of those.
Yeah.
That's because you want to... if we had the wire, you wouldn't have to do that. So
what wire did we need, though?
1/4 inch audio jack cable. That goes from that doohickey to that doohickey.
I was told that this was going to be extremely straightforward and that all I had to do was follow these instructions that were left here on the table that speak nothing of how to actually use the tech. It just tells you how to turn it on.
Yeah.
So anyways, who knows if this is going to actually make the air. I doubt it. But if it does, hello. My name is Amber. You probably know me because you're watching this channel. You might not know this guy, though. This is my husband, Charlie.
Hi there.
Charlie, the camera is there.
Hi, camera there.
Stop looking at me. Look in the camera. Hold on. Camera is like right there.
Okay, why do I have to look in the camera?
Because this is a video podcast.
Isn't it supposed to just like record us naturally?
Okay, well, then...
Because I won't look at you. I'm talking to you. I won't...
Okay, Charlie will not be looking at the camera. What time is it?
It's 2:12.
What?
No.
Oh. Okay.
It's recording number 27 of our test.
So, for those of you who have been around for a while, you may know that this guy and I have been on a little bit of a journey over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
We separated last year, 2021, at the end of 2021. And then
That's
we're
right.
and then we're separated for the beginning of 2022.
We moved out January
Yes. And
2021.
No,
2022.
December. I moved out December 2021. Yes. And then 2022 was last year. So that means that I was out until May-ish. And then we reconciled. We came back together in May or June and got an apartment together. And we have been living in wedded bliss since that time.
Yes.
Thank you for that contribution. Another thing you might want to know about Charlie is that he doesn't do this a lot. I've been doing this, you wouldn't know it from how professional I'm coming across today, but I've been doing this for 7 years now. But Charlie is not really an in front of the camera guy, so it's going to take him a little time to get adjusted.
So, you want me to use my outrovert joke?
Outrovert is not a word.
Yeah, it's extrovert, but outgoing, extrovert. You know, it's my ADHD brain that kind of combines the two.
No, okay.
So I look at your shoes as opposed to my own when I'm talking to you.
That's nothing. That's not a thing.
That's as much as the extrovert as I can be.
Okay. Charlie was on a podcast earlier this week with Intel, which was really exciting.
Yeah, that was fun.
Except he said outrovert at one point.
I did.
And also, evidently there is a thing in the tech world called sharding.
That's right. It's sharding.
Can you tell us what sharding is?
Absolutely. So sharding is... You're so juvenile.
Tell them. Go ahead and tell them what sharding is.
Sharding is when you take your data and you distribute it across as many servers as possible. They call each server a shard, or each place you're holding your data a shard. And sharding your data is distributing it into shards.
And they couldn't have come up with a better name than
I
sharding.
guess they could have.
So he's on this podcast. I'm not around while he's filming it. Okay, so later that night we get the raw file of the podcast and we're laying in bed having a glass of wine, drinking it together. And he says, so the thing is when we add this to our stack, we don't have to worry about the sharding. This comes out of his mouth as though it didn't sound exactly like what it sounded like. So he says it, and I panic, because they've already filmed this, right? This is going live. And I was like, you said sharding.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, sharding, what? I was like, sharding. Sharding, like when you shit, when you mean to fart. Sharding.
That's exactly right. Sharding. But it's spelled with a D. Sharding, not sharting.
But you said sharded too. You were like, and then once it gets sharded.
Yeah.
How did the guy respond when you said sharding?
You know, I guess if you're in a tech space, you just know that that's a word and it kind of rolls off. But it is funny.
Yeah, so those are the kinds of conversations that you might expect to hear with Charlie on, because he's going to sometimes talk about tech, and there's weird things like a teraflop and a quark.
Yeah.
That's
physics.
Yeah, that's physics. Of course, that's physics. Yeah, learning about teraflop days. We went on a date a few weeks ago, and
I was trying to swoo her.
Swoo?
Swoo. Swoo. Swooned. Swoon. Swoon.
Swoon. With a story about teraflop days.
Yeah. Very romantic.
Quite.
That was actually Valentine's Day.
It was our Valentine's Day night out. Yep, sure was.
Talking about teraflop days.
But it was cute. You were so excited. Like you were like really, really lit up about teraflop days. And that was why though I made that TikTok. I filmed him sitting here like at this restaurant talking on and on about teraflop days, and I put this audio over it that was like yeah, what's that? The one part of it that he said that was so funny.
A bing a bang, a bang a boom.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember. Anyway, we'll cut this part out.
Well, those of you who want to know what a teraflop is, it's a measure of compute. You know, ChatGPT takes a long time to process. They measure in teraflop days. It's big.
Do you guys feel better now that you know what a teraflop day is?
I certainly do.
So this is not what this podcast is going to be like. We are two frazzled people in a very hot room, by the way.
Yeah, it's warm here.
Yeah. After spending an hour trying to connect the audio for our podcast, and we have 3 minutes left until we have to be out of here. So here's what I want to leave you with. This is going to be the new, not this is a mess, but this is going to be the new structure for this channel. A lot of you guys are here for the diaper bag packing videos and whatnot. If this video here comes as a surprise to you, I will link my last video down below that kind of explains what's going on with this channel, why you're seeing something very different than what you used to see. But we're both really excited. This won't always be a podcast with me and Charlie, but I want him to come along as much as he's able to.
Yeah, I'd like to be here. I got a lot to say.
You do.
And when I get more comfortable, I'll say
it. We're going to be talking about marriage, motherhood, and mental health. And of course, Charlie will be contributing his fatherhood input.
Yep.
And
male perspective.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a big field. We got to educate some men.
Yes. And you can't talk about marriage without talking about it from both sides. I feel like I can talk a lot to the women around here, but sometimes it's really useful to hear a man's perspective on these things, like how the husband feels about some of these things, because I want to talk about, splitting domestic labor, how you deal with taking care of the children when one of you works and the other doesn't, or when you both work. And these issues are complex, and you have two people involved who have their own needs, and you can't really just discuss this from one side.
I think it'd be great to start talking about how men are indoctrinated into the world. right, over time. And the path that we have been on and the path that we need to be on. And I think that's a huge area of topic we should discuss.
As Charlie demonstrates exactly the point by coming on to a woman's podcast and telling me where we should start.
Well, I'm hopeful that you'll bring your significant other along with you to listen, to get some perspective.
Yes.
Because I think we've been through the gamut.
We have been, yes. And I think Charlie, I mean, God, we've had so many conversations since reconciling and during our separation too that I think are important, and that I joke about him coming along and saying, you know, like, well, here's how we're going to do it. But the truth is,
mansplain that.
We've already agreed that this is what we want to do, and we're excited about it.
I am, yeah, very excited.
Maybe next time we will know how all this stuff works. You might not see us back here again. I don't know. This was a miss for me. All right, so I guess we'll go ahead and conclude this because they're going to come kick us out soon. But we will be here. We'll be back here again eventually. Maybe not here, but on this channel here.
I gotta sit taller than you.
You do, yeah.
I feel so short.
Little guy. Yeah. Love you. Mean it always. Mwah. And I'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.